Before anyone can say that I've trumped up a bunch of disorders or injuries or trying to blame someone or trying to smear their name or trying to get something for free, I'm going to go over some paperwork with you. The first one is an ovarian cyst. The second one is where I have a retracted eardrum. The, let's see. This one is where I had to go to the doctor for the retracted eardrum and the fluid on my, the pocket of pressure that's on my spinal stem, or my brain stem. And then I have a referral to a neurosurgeon right here. Okay. Following my first head injury in Alan Henderson's house, which was not medically treated. Like I said, I had nothing but problems after that, but I didn't want to bring any embarrassment to his family. Okay, so I'll get that out of the way now. I never expected anything for nothing, but I felt like because I was a state witness in a capital murder trial and I had an affair with him, some of the same investigators that were involved with my brother's capital murder case, I was a state witness in that. People knew that. They would often use my kid's life and freedom over my head, or, remind me that if I made the first false move, I would be where he's at, kind of stuff. And I was used to that. So, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. After I left there, I moved, and I ended up with Shane Hodge, which is Marty Hodge's brother. And there was issues with me suspecting him of pedophilia and things like that, because I would find pictures in his phone. And eventually I found stuff on a Chromebook where Mario Hodge instructed Shane Hodge to destroy it. This set me off in a PTSD and a downward spiral of nothing but bad dreams, night tremors, endless hours of detective work, quote unquote. And right after the Chromebook was destroyed, well, first let me back up. He instructed him to destroy it because Shane told him whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said that day, but Marty said, they'll take the device. I feel like he broke protocol right there, because that was supposed to be turned in to be federally investigated, but it wasn't. And that caused a lot of trauma to someone who was abused. And following that, I was assaulted to the point that I woke up feeling like I had been sitting on a bucket for days. I don't know what happened. I will never have the answers to that, but I assume it had something to do with me bringing up that fact about that Chromebook. It took me days to be able to walk again. And matter of fact, right after that, I had to have an emergency surgery where they went in and took some of my insides out. And I didn't connect the two at that point. And everything was always blamed on me or Darius. He's been disrespectful. She's on this, she's on that. She's not but this, she's not but that. So I didn't call the cops and I didn't go to the doctor. Okay, so that's a second assault that went unpunished. Over the years, those injuries progressed to a point that it was embarrassing for my children, my friends. It pushed people away. There was voices, headaches, slurred speech, blurry vision, spots, period of confusion, dinginess. Of course, like I said, it worsened over the years. And I never called anybody wanting favors, I was not the type to say, well, I was with him and I want to stay out of trouble. I was dating so-and-so's brother, which was the captain. I need tickets to disappear. Never once did I do that. I never pulled strings and I never asked him for anything. If I was guilty, I was guilty, and I went doing what I was supposed to do, and blah, blah, blah. But now, I've sent out several texts saying, because of certain things, my son's life and freedom was held over my head, and nobody done anything about it. Matter of fact, there was an incident that happened out at Rebecca Brandon's house where she wiped evidence off the wall, and nobody ever came and done anything about that. And I woke up, I don't know how I woke up. I remember falling asleep with my head hurting so bad, like I was going to have a stroke or something, and I must have passed out. Well, when I got up, I noticed things around the house that was changed. I thought, oh my God, what did they do while I was asleep? I mentioned it. Nothing got done about it. No forensics came in. Nobody came for evidence. Nothing. Well, that next couple of days, I found children's clothes in the house and stained up clothes. Well, no children had visited that I was aware of, and I was there 24/7. Except for, and if they did, it was during times that I was passed out. And like I said, nothing was done about it. They totally got away with threatening my kid's life and his freedom over my head. And I started sending messages to Marty and Alan. And I didn't expect much. I felt like since DHR didn't do their job, they could at least call and say, cut the white tape, put her in something. We don't need the embarrassment. But they didn't. I left messages saying I'll pay back every penny, but I don't want to die out in the heat with these injuries. And they could pitch in, with a small RV with air conditioner, but they didn't. They just want to blame it on me or whatever, or ignore me. Like they're not afraid of being embarrassed at this point or losing their jobs. My idea is if you can't go by the law or take responsibility, you shouldn't be in those positions. All right, I'm going to skip ahead for a little bit. This is where I came to enjoy my last few weeks because I opted not to do surgery. And it's my fault, really, for not going to the doctor and pressing the issue before it got this bad. I accept that responsibility, but I will not accept the fact that nobody takes responsibility after I'm gone. I love it here. So I made a final attempt on Facebook to reach out in case anything happened to my son after an envelope was mailed to Miss DeBose in Mobile with every contributor, every illegal gun thing that I could come up with, anybody that was witnessing the abuse that let it continue. And I sent it. And it probably didn't seem like much when she opened it, but that is names of everybody that was breaking the law, contributing to the abuse, even letting me lay there in coma states of mind while they took pictures, trying to smear my name, my credibility, and all that. And my credibility wasn't in question when I was a state witness in a capital murder trial. It shouldn't be an issue now that they're standing to lose their jobs or whatever. Like I said, there should be no trials. They get asked a question. If they lie, they're responsible. Simple as that. It's not about wanting something for nothing. It's about getting them to take responsibility. Miss DeBose in Mobile, Alabama, the Southern U.S. District for a federal court system, has that envelope. It was not a bluff that I had been working on that for 6 years following that first assault after that Chromebook was destroyed. The message was I was being too nosy for the good old boy system. So I tried to forget it and move on. 2 surgeries later and facing 3 more. I'm tired of trying to let it go so everybody else gets away with what they done, So I chose not to do the surgeries. But I did choose this because I'm not going to give up like I wanted to. I'm not going to give up. And I don't think any woman or child should. And that's the difference that I want to make. I wrote everything out for my last wishes just in case I die before this hits Miss DeBose's hand. And it's this. Instead of a bunch of surgeries, I've opted to try a medicine called cyclosporine. After 30 days, I'll go back for another MRI and a complete blood count. Of course, I haven't went yet. I've been pondering it for days. While I'm on that medication, I will apply for a grant and go back to college. I want to major in social science. I feel like my several encounters with death, and yes, I've had them. I've even had to be resuscitated. After several encounters briefly with death, living through the abuse, being an abuser at one point, being guilty of manipulation years ago while I was having these affairs, and I just feel like social science would be something that I could excel in. So I decided not to just lay here and die, but to keep going and move forward. So, this paper says, while I'm on the medication, I will apply for grants for housing and college. During the past few years, I've had a lot of problems with PTSD, head traumas, and neurological problems. I can't go backwards. I cannot allow you to take my brother's life and my life and use them against me any longer. You will not use my son's life or freedom over my life again. Instead of tormenting people with head trauma and disabilities, people should be more supportive. Happy, lucky, your little tricks that you play when you want people to look guilty of things that are suffering from fluid that's built up around the pituitary gland or spinal injuries, a prolactin imbalance, whatever you want to call it. I say no to hate crimes, because if people commit hate crimes based on their assumptions of your guilt on something that you have PTSD with, I feel like those officers are completely responsible if they blow off every woman that complains about something, being that if the heads were turned, most of those cops would try to court these children's mothers, but not to do their job. They will court the children's mother, but they won't protect them later. And I know that from experience. That's why I never called until I couldn't take it anymore. And I knew something was wrong. I know I've been sick for a long time. I knew that in my heart, but I had to worry about the kids being threatened. I had to worry about so-and-so's family being embarrassed. I had to worry about dirt they would get on me while I was suffering from the traumas. So I let it go, and I let it go, and I let it go. So if there was any kind of crimes that was committed based on those assumptions or any bullying or any embarrassment to my family, I'm very sorry. Another reason why I didn't go forward with the issue is because I knew some of my family was involved. There's nobody that can tell me any different. There was things that was kept from me, like they were protecting me, but they were not protecting me, they were protecting themselves. I know that now, because this is where I came. To be in a tent, to keep from embarrassing them. And I love it here. And I'm at peace with things. I am. This is some of the evidence and some of the abuse that occurred while I was suffering from these injuries. First, let me go back. My final wishes are that if I pass away before anything is done about this, I wish for my body. So I'll say, I, Angela Lynn Santos, birthday 10/11/76, social security number 419-06-3350. That my body be donated to Birmingham Science. On a Darius's container of choice for ashes, on one side put, quotation, it mattered to me, quotation. On the other side, I want it to say, leave us alone to enjoy our temporary home. Till I see you again, be strong. Love, Mom. On my middle child's container, I want it to say, be brave, my beautiful sea. Be safe till I see you again. Love, Mom. On the other side, quotation, her story, quotation. And there's a song called, I just YouTube Beautiful Garden funeral song and it comes up. Okay. I'm going to go back to some of the stuff that I feel is important. Alright, and I know some of it's repetitive, but I get where I can't focus or concentrate, so I ramble a little. Sorry. Okay, in Elmore County, this is the people that I feel like should pay. Because like I said, any other time I never called the cops. I wasn't what you call a snitch. And I hate that word because by all means, if somebody's life is in danger, you should tell it no matter what. But anyway, in Elmore County, while I was suffering from this spinal injury, retracted eardrum, several cysts, and fluid built up around my brainstem and pushing into my pituitary gland. In Elmore County, Alabama, for drugs, abuse, and federal material level for some of the things they were doing in the house. Rebecca Brannon at 42 North Turkey Pond Road, a.k.a. Becky Tanner. Michael Lorenzo Smith, a.k.a. Smitty. Nigel, Lisa Moore, Jay. They will all be around that house at 42 North Turkey Pond, Wetumpka, Alabama. Turkey Pond Lane. They also contributed to my injuries, whether it was through neglect or direct physical contact. I was a pain tenant, and I have mental illness and head trauma pain tenant, so I believe I have rights. In Sylacauga, he goes by the name Billy Edwards. He came after my son with a machete one night, and he deals in drugs. Mark Shane Hodge, attempted murder, child abuse through mental and physical neglect, ×2. Matter of fact, he's in prison in Texas right now. He got caught with drugs in his truck years ago, and he told him they were my son's. I believe each pill on that should be charged, new charges for a federal offense, each pill. He blamed it on my child at 7. He didn't. Shane stole the pills and got caught with them and said my son left them there. So I think each one of them should be a new charge. He had several times neglected me and allowed injury after injury when I would black out and never called an ambulance. And the times that he did, he let me just drive off with them. And there's days at a time I don't remember and probably will never remember. So that's Mark Shane Hodge. He's in Plainview, Texas, Hale County. Several injuries were obtained through means of negligence and mental. There was hospitalizations when I should have been under physician's care, not a W.A.A. doctor. I swear I think they're vets sometimes and not psych doctors anyway. Dr. Toro in Kellyton, Alabama. Very, very unprofessional. Because of my neck turning crooked and being blind in my right eye and stuff, I guess he thought I was crazy or stupid. Dr. Toro in Kellyton once told my son, no matter how she looks, you better listen to her. I don't feel doctors like that should practice around children. They teach boys not to respect their mother, which seems to be the way they do it sometimes in the South. While suffering with spinal injury and fluid on my brain, and a total retracted eardrum, including cysts that haven't been tested for cancer, I went through a phase of addiction as well, where I tried to catch some assailants myself, ones that were guilty of contributing and involved with child pornography. Being that I'm a victim of sexual assault and physical abuse, to hear Mario instruct Shane to destroy that device was very traumatic to me. And it set me on a downward spiral, causing me to lose focus on things that I was trying to accomplish. Also causing me and my son not to trust certain officials. Matter of fact, the sheriff of Elmore County, while this was going on at Rebecca's house, told me to smoke till I died. Never once, knowing that I had spinal injuries and fluid on my brain, or cyst, or disabilities, I believe. I feel like that was wrong. Also through this phase here are some of the abuses that took place. Mind you that I have sent this list into Miss DuBose as well. And if something happens to me, I wish that for once in my life, they pay. They take responsibility and they go to jail, just like they wanted me and O'Darius to when he defended his mama and told Rebecca that he would kill her. He shouldn't get in trouble for that. People say things when they're angry all the time, but they got away with it. They even got away with threatening my whole family's life, so I wouldn't turn that information in. And nobody did anything about it. Mario Hodge was aware of the situation, as was Alan Henderson. Mind you, the cop I had an affair with. They did nothing. Not one thing. Everyone knew that I had been working on this case for years. But because of the sensitivity, people would snoop around and inflict more abuse just to see what all I'd say or what all I remember. Also trying to make guilt of things that are not illegal. For instance, they would try to convince me I was guilty of things that were not illegal so they could get away with basically just covering their tail and using the information for other purposes. And they would use tactics like it was going to be a scared sober tactic, or it was going to be a disrespectful teen scared straight thing, or basically I feel like other people that were involved would use that means to get away with their part in it. So let's pretend it's a movie today, and let's pretend it's scared sober tomorrow and see what the BITCH remembers. Basically is how it was going for a long time. I think more often than not, they were trying to sweep things under a rug and ran in circles and worked wide open just to make sure I wasn't going to say the wrong thing. And just in case I was going to, they would distract me. So it took me almost 6 years to be able to put this together. That's why I come up with this cause and a purpose for my social science degree, and to be the first woman as a civilian who presented a federal case with more indictments at one time than they probably ever had. That's why I say W.A.A. W.A.A. It's Women Against Abusers. I had a tumor. I have several, I wouldn't say tumor, I have several cysts and fluid buildup on my brainstem, and a spinal injury, and a couple of disabilities. I never played off of those. I wanted to be the best I could be. That's why I decided I'm going to go to college and I'm going to run. If it kills me, I'm going to major in social science. And I'm going to always do what's right if God gives me another chance to do what's right. But I don't feel these people should get away with everything. And it's not that I'm trying to drag them down to get something for free. I know what's right and wrong, and so do they. So I'll skip back a little bit. Being that I'm blind and deaf on one side of my head, with an overload of prolactin and fluid on the brain pressing into my pituitary gland, someone thought it nice to do this little happy or lucky trick, if you know what I mean. Me not knowing I had a tumor or a device or cyst or anything like that caused me to run in more circles. Put down the pipe. Now let's not let the drugs, blah, blah, blah. Let's do this, let's do that. It was never about let's get the drugs off the street and let's put the abusers away. It was about using the mother on drugs as a way to intimidate the children or to threaten them later. It wasn't about getting the drugs and the abusers off the street. It was more ways to blame the mother. That is something I feel should stop. If any man contributes to that, he's a piece of crap. It's plain and simple, piece of crap. If a man is more worried about his current wife finding out his past, he is a piece of crap to allow someone with documentation, someone with years and years and years of experience, to choose to do that to save them embarrassment. You're a piece of crap. There's no use in pretending. There's no use in trying to smear me. I don't have to be proven a liar, a schizophrenic, a dope, anything, a guilty, nothing. I'm not the one on trial. You guys are. And should be. I shouldn't have to look any of y'all in the face. What you were running around getting on me didn't do you a bit of good, because I shouldn't have to be there. All they do is ask you a question, and if you lie, you're gone. And I've given y'all several chances. My insurance will even pay for the surgeries. Did they come with a car or ride? No. Did they bring me something I could travel in if I chose to die? No. Did they bring food? Did they send money? No. I didn't ask them to. But in the end, I would say, well, if we don't want to do this and we don't want to do this, you can do this. No. The people here take care of me. I pay my rent. If I'm a day or two late, I pay it. But the people here take care of me. I don't drink, you can ask them. I don't use drugs, you can ask them. I've left 2 or 3 times to go to town with a very respectful church-going man. So don't keep trying to smear women who have injuries and past problems or affairs as the problem. I don't have to be smeared for you to look like what you are. Your opinion of me, world, shouldn't dictate someone else's freedom. If they're guilty, they're guilty. So because I have been such a patient person in this situation and took chance after chance after chance, even with my own children, and I'm not bragging about it, I feel like, for once, some of the other people take responsibility, you know? Quit studying me so much that you can't get the abusers off the street. Quit supporting the abusers and support the abused ones. Because I've never cried victim in my life. Ever. Because I don't see myself as a victim. I see myself as one of the strongest, most beautiful, smartest people in the world. And I will never let somebody who's more worried about their own issues drag me down again. Ever. Before I could get all this finished and turned into Mr. Bose and on a live video, there were several threats made about my child not being a ghost yet. I informed them of that, but they blow it off, not doing their job. Again, nobody takes me serious because you're too smart. You move around too much. This ain't happening. She's this, she's that. No, but you're guilty. You're guilty for trying to dig around on me to cover y'all's tail. That's what it is. Y'all are guilty. And I think you should pay a responsibility for guilt. I think you should take responsibility for your parts in it. None of y'all cared about me and Odarius. That was put out there several times. My son cannot make the wrong move because he doesn't want somebody to make his mom sick. He only wants me to be happy my last few months. I can't do and say what's right because I'm scared somebody's going to really go after him. But you know what I decided? And I know it sounds cold. They were going to do it anyway. They were going to do it anyway. They have tried for so long to intimidate me that it's unreal, but all it did was make me stronger. I am going to run again. I am going to finish school again. And I will never put up with abuse again. And that I can promise you. This happened at Rebecca Brennan's house. Where, like I said, she cleaned evidence off the wall like somebody was really assaulted there while I was passed out. I feel like forensics should have been took through right away. And if it is my child or another child, then they should go down for that wholeheartedly. I feel like this next list of people are guilty for attempted murder. I feel like several of the cops that were involved are guilty of attempted murder. And if I die before surgery, I feel like it should be moved to murder. Once you remove all those people from the streets, once you remove all these people from the streets, it cuts y'all's work down in half. I can guarantee that because I know I've lived it. I'm not intimidated just because you think I'm ugly or just because you think I'm a loser. I'm not either of those things. I'm a woman. I graduated college the year I was supposed to graduate high school, and I made many mistakes, but I am not a loser. And I won't lose this time. I can guarantee you that. W.A.A. Women Against Abuse. I'm going to move on to Tallapoosa County DHR. Oh yeah, if anything does happen to Odarius, because several people knew what I was up to, these are the people that I want held responsible. Alan Hendrickson, Donald Valenza, the Sheriff of Elmore County, and Mario Hodge from Tallapoosa County. A lot of people knew I was sick. DHR, Tallapoosa County. They overlook parents buying kids drugs. They leave them in homes with known pedophiles, often letting the teens live as married couples in Cindy Goggins' house. She's got 2 underage couples living there, popping out babies like Pass candy. The state's paying for them. Alexis Simmons sold drugs to Cindy Goggins numerous times for these children, just for her children to witness her husband abusing her and blah, blah, blah. I called DHR to complain. They told me it wasn't my business. My child's there. What do you mean it's not my business? He's a pedophile and she buys kids the drugs. What do you mean it's not my business? My child's there. You know, the lady told me, ma'am, that's not none of your business. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, because y'all let them get away with drug tests. The mama buys it for them and says they go get it from down the street. That's not true. I watched her buy them from the neighbor named Alexis Simmons, who sells meth and weed. She sells it to Cindy Goggins for her kids. She can't pass a lie detector test, I promise you. My credibility don't make her innocent. Her guilt makes her guilty. How can you place children in a home with a known pedophile and a woman who buys her kids drugs to keep them in line? You can't do that. I feel like DHR should skip all white tape. I don't do drugs. I'm not out running the roads. I like church. I like singing. I like studying. I think DHR should cut all white tape and put me in Section 8. No strings, no questions asked. Rather than place children in a home like that. Or I can go after Tallapoosa County for inflicting some of the abuse and the trauma. That's up to them. We got serious issues. A lot more serious than that. So I'll move forward to those. People wanted mental deaths to be the problem so bad that they wouldn't do their job. It was easier to blame it on disrespectful teenagers or me being guilty of whatever. Like I said, my guilt does not make them less guilty. So I don't buy that bull crap. And I don't think any other citizen that pays taxes should either. I want my son's education to be paid for in a trust fund that I'm sure the police are going to put up now. I believe that all these counties should pitch in